this is what it said. I don't need yours when I'm looking for the beast I found instead. I take off my hat to the person that doesn't need our music. As he passes by, I spit in his eye, 'cause he don't know how to use it. Ain't no education, ain't no repeat. If the music moves you, there's a mark of the beast. Oh, ain't no education, ain't no repeat. If the music moves you, there's a mark of the beast. There's a mark of the beast. There's a mark of the beast.
That was a song called The Mark of the Beast by this week's guests on Heavy Pressure, local band The Handsome Beasts, on a new record label called Heavy Metal Records, based at Sedgley, near Dudley, here in the West Midlands. First of all, tell me something about the record label.
Actually, to be quite honest, it was set up for us in the first place. We were dragging around the record companies and things were taking a really long time. It's taking a month to get a reply from anybody. And it was only a stereotype reply anyway, same as everybody else gets. So our manager, Paul Birch, decided to, let's say, set off on our own. And we were lucky enough to get a deal with Spartan Records as regards a distribution contract. Very lucky indeed, I think, and that's the way it all started out.
Originally, yes. The A&R men are a little reticent, reticent about anything remotely new. They won't listen to it. Well, they'll listen to it, but they won't stake their reputations on it. I mean, one mistake, they're out in the rear, I suppose, but...
That's right, because it is, in fact, a sort of very, very tough time as far as music business is concerned.
Yeah, it's a bit tight.
So you've actually went round to all the big-name record companies with these two tracks in mind?
No, it was just a demo that we'd done. And actually one of those tracks wasn't even on it. And after a while, we got really fed up.
Yeah.
I'd like to say how we really felt with radio, you know. So we thought we'd do it on our own.
When was this record actually released?
May the 23rd. And was the release date, although it didn't actually appear anywhere till a week later.
Now, I know, in fact, that it's been sort of selling in quite large numbers, hasn't it?
Yes, we don't know why. It just seems to go that way. Because we thought it would just sell in the Birmingham area, you know, the Midlands. But apparently it's been going all over the country. It's Scotland and Norwich and Aberystwyth even, I suppose.
Do you have any figures as to how many records have actually been sold at the moment?
No, apparently the last I heard we were well into the second 1,000, and that was after about 4 days. So I don't know what's happened since.
Literally with no publicity, of course.
Yeah. No publicity, yeah, it's in the second 1,000 and going all over the country. It must have been quite a pleasant surprise for you then.
Yes.
No, more of an electric shock.
We were pleasantly surprised. Yes.
And there's interest in London as well, isn't there, about this particular record company, Heavy Metal Records?
Yeah, the name's so sort of... heavy metal, yeah, it's self-explanatory.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised nobody's thought of it before, actually.
Yeah, it's a good talk, isn't it, really? It's a good talk.
Oh, yeah.
Heavy metal.
Where is the record available then?
Anywhere. You go into any local store and you'll be able to order it.
If they haven't got it, they can get it.
Now, in fact, so I'll let the listeners know that, in fact, I've seen you around doing a couple of Birmingham venues a couple of months ago, and then all of a sudden I get a phone call last week and the record's out, which quite surprised me, actually. I mean, was it as quick as that for you to, you know, when the record came out, to actually make and everything, or was it a very, very slow process?
Well, we don't hang around once we get started, you know. Seriously, we spent about a month on it, I suppose.
Yes, better. It seemed to be an age because we were waiting for it. It was a situation where you're expecting it the day after. And it drags. It drags a lot. You're expecting the single. Oh, it's only 2 days, only 1 day, but it seems such a long time. And with a strange French holiday or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, the record was apparently pressed in France, and they decided to have a weird siesta at the same time. I don't think it was anything to do with the record, but...
Which disrupted you slightly?
Yeah.
The there was a musical writer, wasn't there, in one of the local papers, Brumbeat, about the band, talking about the single and everything, and mentioning the fact that the band must have one of the largest singers in the business.
It's highly likely, actually. It's highly likely. Someone mentioned I was 23 stone. That's a load of rubbish.
24?
Could be. No, I'm not quite that big. I'm getting on for that, but not quite that big.
What about your stage act when you go out and perform in the public? Well, what do they see when they go out and watch you?
It's repulsive.
No, it's natural. It's the way we are. It's nothing put on. It's nothing rehearsed. It happens, and the way you see us is the way we are that particular night. If we're low that night, then you'll see us as low, but it doesn't happen very often. But if we're particularly happy that night, then you'll see us jumping and leaping about and getting into the audience and, get it together generally.
If we can get a few hecklers, I'm happy.
Yeah.